Oh, hey, I'm live. It appears I am live. Okay. Oops. That was kind of embarrassing. Okay, I'm going to wait a few minutes. I know tech guys say you shouldn't do that in a live stream. One should get right into it. But I'm going to wait a few minutes. Hopefully, a couple of more will show up. And this will likely teach me a lesson that from now on, hearts, great to see you. Hi, great to see you. Okay, so I see two people are here, including Hearts. And tonight's topic is, yes, as the title implies, or at least the main highlight. Are we labeled too much as? Are we labeled too much by superficial trappings? And how that can be detrimental to mental health. It's not going to be really a totally scientific thing. It's just more of an opinion piece and what I've noticed and what I've seen. And I think my latest research. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the topic, Hearts. I'm glad you do. Let's hope there are others who do and will stop by. Yeah. So, as I said, I wonder often if it harms mental health more than anything else. Okay, I'm going to put the photography lights on. Probably should have done that before. Put the photography lights on. So, yes. But I think it has been. So the latest has been the research I've been doing with two Montreal Facebook dating groups. Oh, thank you, Hearts. Facebook dating groups from Montreal. I gotta say, on some level, they're worse than POF. Plenty of fuckers. It's not plenty of fish anymore. It's plenty of fuckers. And mulch. Instead of match.com, it's mulch.com. But I had noticed. So, I mean, I've noticed that a lot of people, Supernova, hi. That's okay. I'm glad you could drop by. So, and there's one thing I've noticed. I mean, it's been happening since we were kids, whether you grew up in the 70s or 80s, especially in the 80s as time went on. And now in this age of Instagram and smart chat, and not smart chat, Snapchat, yes. I find we are labeled by too many superficial trappings. For instance, we suffer from a mental illness. We suffer from an addiction, maybe an eating disorder, some other neurodivergent, non-neurotypical, such as autism spectrum, learning disabilities. We are often labeled by those disorders, or somebody's in a wheelchair or on a walker, or they have a lack of mobility. The cripple, for instance, the crippled one, or we see an overweight person, particularly in the case of women. Oh, the fat woman over there. And I've seen it also with YouTubers as well. And I can't help but wonder if some of the trappings weren't laid out. They might be treated a little differently. For instance, in the case you see somebody with a mental illness, it's like, oh, they're crazy. Oh, the mentally ill one, or the drug addict, or the one with the learning disability. And this is how we're defined almost. You might as well name us or stamp us on the forehead. Alcoholic, drug addict, bipolar disorder, depression, etc. And what is that? What kind of a response does that elicit? From most people? Usually a lot tend to stay away. Tend to stay away. I mean, I think what I'm getting at is, why are we not defined by who we really are? I realize it takes harder work to really get to know a person, but why do we not do that? Why do we not go beyond how the person may look, or how the person may look, or how the person may, how do we not? Huh. So, how do we not? How do we get past it? How do we get past and really get to know a person? And if anybody, you feel free to jump into the live chat and have some suggestions going. I was in a, this Facebook group, and I had told the truth, saying that I was actually wearing dentures. I had dental surgery last year, and I had all my upper teeth removed. And the idiot left a message saying, well, you're exactly what I would like because you have no teeth. I hear gums give fantastic BJs. Oh, so he didn't care to get to know who I was as a person. Didn't care to know who I was as a person. Did not care to know what I was about. Did not care to know about anything. Did not care to know about any of it. Just treated me like I was some circus freak show, some circus sideshow. If you remember those sideshows / freak shows at the circus, if you went to the circus when you were younger, you would know what I'm talking about. And I was sick to my stomach for 3 days afterwards, literally, because of that. It's like I felt less than a person. I honestly felt less than a person. And I think many would too as well. How do we know? And then there's, there are certain YouTube. Yeah, you're right, Supernova. Yeah, you're right, Supernova. Society is very closed. It's hard to get to know people. Many don't want to spend the energy. Yeah, that's exactly true. And we need to go to do that, I know the internet has a lot to do with it, but I find it started before the internet, in the 80s, especially in the 90s, before the internet was widely available. Most definitely long before the age of social media. I mean, even in school, even in high school, I was known as the spaz because I was a klutz. I tripped over my own 2 feet. I had issues with fine motor skills. I wasn't coordinated at sports in gym class. Oh, thank you, Hearts Love. Thank you very much, Hearts Love. Yes, Hearts Love left a link if you wish to support the channel. I'm not going to be in your face about it because I'm not going to be in your face about it. So thank you again, Hearts. Yeah. So it's, so I was known as the spaz in high school a lot of the time, or I was known as the one with the big head because I had a bad hair, because I was subjected to having very bad haircuts and really bad haircuts. And then there was that time when I was 15 that I mentioned in a previous live stream, where I had my first perm and I ended up with a bald spot, and that's how I started wearing hats to cover it up. It's like, oh, that's the bald chick. And I have to wonder, would they say that to a cancer patient who lost their hair due to chemotherapy, or somebody who suffers from some other hair loss disorder? I don't know, hypothyroidism to some degree. Definitely some others like alopecia. And I wonder if they would do that. Yeah, I did not grow up in a poor household, but I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. And uh, as such, for one thing, my parents insisted I had short hair growing up. Oh, they insisted I have short hair. That's why I keep my hair long to this day. But I mean, like we see an overweight person and we fat shame them. We fat shame them. We see them eating, having a bite to eat. Doesn't matter what they eat. They could be eating a salad, and we're still going to shame them for bloody well eating. And so instead of saying, "Oh, this is the fat, overweight person," I mean, they could be more than that. They could be a mother. They could be a single parent who works 2 jobs to support her child, and somehow does all to try to make it to their kid's soccer game. We see somebody who is sick or disabled, but we only see the disability, right? We only see the disability. We don't get beyond or past that to know that maybe this disabled person visits their next door neighbor who might happen to be lonely and needs to chat or is sick. Hey, Jason, it's great to see you. Great to see you. Okay, I hope to catch you at my next. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you stopped by, Jason. Yeah, this means. Yeah, it's great to see you, Jason. So, anyways, as I was saying, we see a recovering addict. You see people coming out maybe out of a meeting, or they're leaving a detox center, or they mention no, they don't want to drink because they're a recovering alcoholic, right? And what do? We label them as the alcoholic or somebody who's drug addict. We don't get beyond that maybe perhaps this person actually has an education. We think drug addict, we think automatically criminal. We think this person is uneducated. We think this person is an overall loser. And why do we do that? Much to our detriment. Oh, well, Jason, I look forward to your upcoming videos. I'm glad you're coming back. So why are we, and it's the same thing with mental illness. We allow ourselves to be defined by our mental illness. Oh, this person has borderline personality disorder. This person has bipolar. This person has BPD. Stay away from them. They're going to be highly manipulative and they're always angry all the time. And that's not it. Maybe that person could be a brilliant writer. Maybe that person could be a brilliant at math. Or they try to get past their anxieties to attend Comic-Con because they are Comic-Con nerds at heart. Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you. I'm kind of winging it. I probably should have researched it better, but I'm going by my own opinion. And you're right, Supernova. It is wrong to judge like that, but we are judged like that. Like, for instance, for the most part, because I lost my teeth last year and I wear a denture, people automatically think I'm some kind of hillbilly who has been inbred and uneducated. They think I'm uneducated, I'm ignorant. And well, no, I have some university under my belt. I know I never completed a degree because of a variety of issues. Yes, we do, Jason. Yeah. People stereotype because it's easier. Yeah, it saves us from thinking, right? I mean, we have so little critical thinking these days, so little thinking outside the box. It's mind-boggling, really. Yeah, exactly. So like I said, because people think I don't have teeth, I wear a denture, I don't have dental implants. They think I'm this uneducated trailer trash thing and that couldn't be further from the truth. I am the daughter of a high school teacher and a social worker. That means, I came from an educated family where education was important. I may not have finished university, but I do hold 2 technical certificates. I do a lot of reading and research on topics that I'm interested in on my own, and I am very knowledgeable on most subjects. And as another thing, I'm actually one of the first people you can come to. I'm one of the first people you can come to if you're in a jam. And if I can't find the resources, I will look for them and point you in the right direction. Or I will simply lend a sympathetic ear and offer advice where it may be requested or warranted. My problem solving skills are still pretty good for the most part, although that may go at some point. Oh, thank you, Supernova. And I get to know all of you too. Those of you who come into my live stream, or those I chat with in the Discord, in Driven's Discord, or those of you who stop by and watch my videos and leave comments or chat with me on, I don't know, either on Twitter or Instagram or on Facebook. Yeah. A philosophical soul. Thank you. I like to think I am. I try. Or I make the joke that I'm I make the joke, that I'm a pseudo philosopher. I don't know. Next time, maybe my next live stream will be so lightweight that that maybe I'll start painting with body parts or something. I don't know, but we're going to stick to the topic at hand. Well, thank you, hearts. So it's good to see all of you here. I'm really glad you're all here. But yeah, and it's like, Jason, probably you would understand as a recovering addict, sometimes you probably go through a hard time as well, not just with staying sober, but people judging you simply because of your past, and I think that is damaging to most of us, because it kind of implies that whatever mistakes, whatever transgressions we did, we're not entitled to a second chance. If as a society we don't believe in redemption, Oh, hi, Wraith. It's good to see you. So, we don't believe in redemption. We just believe in labeling the person either by, something short, clippy, snappy. Yeah. But, yeah. So it is our own ignorance that causes us to miss out on so much. Even relationship coaches, and I was talking to a so-called dating coach or relationship coach 2 years ago, who ended up writing this multi-volume article about older women and the dating game. And he put the onus on us older women that it was our fault, basically. And he too slapped labels on us like low quality and high quality women. I kid you not. And the way he defined the quality, not how we are with our fellow man, not how much respect we have for our neighbor or our friends or our family, not by our empathy or our compassion, but by how we look and how much money we have and whether or not we have a career that is interesting to talk about. And that's another thing. We are defined. What's the first thing we often ask somebody? We meet somebody for the first time. And what's the thing we ask? What's the first thing we ask? Maybe even before we ask, what's your name? What do you do to earn a buck? What do you do to earn a buck? Yes, exactly, Jason. An addict can be a person in recovery, and they are people in recovery. Yes, and I am 20 years off drugs, Jason. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about there. I have been 20 years off drugs. Do you know how many people think I'm still on drugs? They take a look at me, the hats or the retro sunglasses. Some have said that I look like Janis Joplin, which I take as a compliment because I thought, hell, she was one of the best female singers ever in our time. But people still think, oh, what is she on now? What is she on? And no, I've been straight for 20 years. And it's kind of like, you know, you want to start clean, you want to start anew, you want to hang around with a new circle of people, because when you are using or when you are in active addiction, you obviously don't really want to hang around with the same crowd with you hung with before. You want to, you know, start socializing with a different crowd, but, you know, sometimes that different crowd doesn't want to accept you for whatever reason. Thank you, Jason. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, you know, and this is why it is dangerous sometimes. This is where it get very dangerous, I find. And it's the motivation, and it goes to motivation, you know. We want, we want to be clean because for a whole variety of reasons. You know, maybe we want to contribute to society. We want to stop doing bad things in the name of our addiction. Maybe we want to lead as normal a life as humanly possible. Not necessarily conforming or keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak, because I always thought the Joneses were fucked up anyway. So it was very nice talking to you too, Jason. Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger, Jason. I'm glad, stop by, chat anytime you like. I hope you're doing good, and I'm glad to hear you're coming back to YouTube. I'm glad you're coming back to YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, Jason is one awesome dude from these four walls. He is awesome. One of the nicest people I've met online. I mean, you're all nice. You're all nice. I'm just telling you, but just since Jason is leaving, yeah, this is one example of one dude who is very soulful, and he's one of the nicest people you'll ever come across. And that is an example of how we should look beyond the label, look beyond the appearance, look beyond. Good night. Agreed. Well, Jason, I wouldn't say it if it weren't true. I wouldn't say it if it weren't true, you know? So it's like, and that's like, this is a good example of what we're talking about. All of us here in the live chat, we've been getting to know Jason, at least online, you know, through our interactions and stuff, and our video, watching his videos or him commenting on our videos. We get to know him, and we see that he is a very bright, very soulful man, and a very nice and compassionate man. You know, and that's the lesson we should learn, because sometimes you get beyond the superficial, you get beyond the trappings, you get beyond the visuals or how things look, and you just might find that you'll find some of the nicest people, some of the most interesting people, and some of the most intelligent and most honest people. And honesty, the latter, is something we lack a lot of these days, don't you find? Yeah, exactly. You do need to look underground for gold. You do. You do need to look underground for gold. Yeah, agreed. So, personally, I think we should do away. Oh, there's a lot of things I think we should do away with, which I won't get into now, but I think the first step, and this is important to mental health awareness too, when you think about it, right? Excuse me. When you think about it, it is the first step to mental wellness, that we start treating each other better and we get beyond the superficial. Yeah, exactly. I mean, how does that saying go? I'd rather you hated me for the person I am than loving me for the person I'm not. And I think it goes and of course this should go vice versa. You know, you shouldn't hate me for what I'm not, or you shouldn't hate me for only what you see and not go beyond, right? Yeah, exactly. That's a real friend. Thank you, Supernova. Um, you know, and I think we have, I think we have to. I mean, what was it? Who was it? There was a YouTube video. I think it came out last week. I'm not going down the ALR rabbit hole tonight. Okay, this is not. I'm just going to mention it in passing. Anybody ever heard of Freely the Banana Girl? She's a vegan YouTuber. She was big once upon a time, raising awareness for the animals, off-grid living as a minimalist, a little bit of feminist twinged in. Well, she wrote some ebooks promoting some weird diet called Raw Till 4, and it's mostly fruit. It's a cringeworthy diet that's not healthy, and she is not certified. But lately, to get views and clicks, because she wasn't getting the clicks and views, she's going after every YouTube mukbanger. Yeah. You know of Freely, huh? Yeah. And now Freely is the one who's judgmental now. So anyways, lately her videos, like she's bordering on becoming a drama channel. Okay. So she's taking overweight overweight YouTubers like Amberlynn Reed and like Chantal, the Chantal Show, Foodie Beauty, whatever she calls herself these days. Or she's going after the big YouTube mukbangers like Nikocado Avocado and slamming them for what they're eating. And she's become very in your face. Like as a vegan myself, she is, in my opinion, if you want to win people to your side, you don't do like Freely, okay? You don't be in your face. You don't go berating. And you don't go into this freaking tirade, okay? So anyways, so she did a video on Amberlynn Reed recently about what one of Amberlynn Reed's what I ate in a day or a mukbang or whatever it was. And there was Freely, and there was only one thing in Freely's video that I agreed with, which I'm tying into tonight's topic. She says, your fat is not who you are. You are not fat. You have fat. That is the only thing I agreed with Freely on. That is the only thing that I agree with Freely on. It was what she said. You are not fat. You have fat. Fat is not who you are. And it's yet in this day and age, where we fat shame, and fat shaming, unfortunately, is still a very politically correct and socially acceptable form of prejudice, discrimination, bullying, what have you, right? And this fat woman, it's like what I said earlier. This overweight woman is much more than her freaking size, if you got to know her. You might find, she might be, I don't know, she takes care of the old lady next door who just got out of the hospital. She's a single mom who works 2 jobs. She might have a university degree even. And I point that last part out because that's another thing. People have this misconception that all fat people, especially overweight women, as being untrustworthy, unknowledgeable, and overweight, right? They had a woman who went to BeautyCon and was shamed, and she's close to 1 million subscribers, Sierra Chelcie, but she talks about what's inside. I've never heard of Sierra Chelcie, but I will check her out. Yeah, exactly. You are not only a fat woman, Supernova. Exactly. You are not only a fat woman. And, and it's very hard. Like, I have strong feelings about Amberlynn Reed, but things that I think they should be talked about. But on the other hand, going down that rabbit hole, do I really want that when I'm trying to grow a channel? But You know, I mean, but this to say, I mean, it doesn't even have to be her. I'm just mentioning her because she's one of the more notable overweight YouTubers, you know? She's very body positive. I'll have to check her out. Sierra Chelcie. I'll have to check her out because that might be interesting. Yes, exactly, Supernova. Thank you. I mean, Eugenia had become the poster child for eating disorders on YouTube, anorexia nervosa in particular. Though we got to be careful about labeling her publicly because she has not come out publicly specifically saying she has anorexia. We got to be careful with what we say publicly, you know. But yeah, but she has admitted to an eating disorder finally when she did that video with Shane Dawson. I did a video about this subject, her and Jacqueline Glenn and that whole imbroglio a while back. But yes, Eugenia Cooney is more than her size, more than her eating disorder. Yeah. It's more than her eating disorder, you know, and I mean, and you know what the sad thing is, I think? I mean, and here's the thing I think that what a lot of people dislike about someone like Amberlynn Reed, for instance, is that the thing is, if anybody is really honest, and like people who go watch her regularly and dump on her comments section with a bunch of cheap shots, you gotta wonder. I mean, I've seen her content, and in all honesty, like her stories are not that compelling, except the ones about her childhood and her past. But otherwise, like what happens day to day, like her sitting around with Becky or going to a restaurant with Becky, not really compelling stuff, and it's not really interesting stuff. And you can't help but wonder if she were of normal size, would she get the views and subs that she has? Probably not. And I think that's a scary thing. Maybe good. Maybe she sees it as a good thing because she makes cash off of it. But I personally don't. Because it goes back to the old circus freak show, the sideshow thing. You know, the whole sideshow. People only watch her because, not only because she is morbidly obese, but she continues to gain weight. And I think that is very sad. That is like very sad. And I always say, if you don't like watching her, you don't like her videos, don't watch them. I don't like her videos, so I don't watch them. Okay? I find her content boring. I don't care what she looks like. I do not care what she looks like. I do not care how big or small she is. Her content bores the fuck out of me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I know. No, I know. I don't think she's. I don't think she's healthy either, Supernova. I don't think she's healthy either. But you know, at the same time, I don't think we should be making fun of somebody for being unhealthy, whatever it may be. You know. And that's what you know. You don't like her, don't watch her. That's my thing. And it's like nobody can get past her size. Almost nobody can get past her size, or the fact that she's failed every diet known to man. But who hasn't failed a diet? The diet industry is designed for us to fail by nature, because if we were to succeed, the diet industry wouldn't be making much money now, would it? Or at least not as much as it would like to. Many lie to hate watch Amber. Many lie to hate watch Amber. Yeah, it's true. It is hate watching. I mean, when you see the like to dislike ratios on her videos, it's insane. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Not even with Boogie2988. And if there's anybody who deserves some hate for the way he It's on record for the way he treats women. Ugh. But yeah, people do love to hate watch. And that's what she capitalizes on. That's what she capitalizes on. Let's take something on a more positive note, a more positive channel. I'm thinking of the channel Chelcie Lynn. Chelcie Lynn is a comedy channel, for those of you who don't know. She has a persona that she puts on called Trailer Trash Tammy, and it's all about redneck humor. I mean, she puts the trailer park boys to shame. And it's a hilarious. She is hilarious as Tammy. She is simply hilarious. She does mukbangs. She does weird cooking. She's done some weird cooking videos like Jesus Spaghetti or Tammy's Truck Stop Taco Surprise, stuff like that. Or her other characters, like her husband Daryl, who's in and out of prison. Character, not in real life. I mean, this, like, I don't know. It's like what Peter Mon said. I don't know why this woman doesn't have her own television show. She is that funny. I don't know why she doesn't have her own television show. She has like something like, yeah, she doesn't have, because she's not a train wreck. She's absolutely funny, but because it's not a negative channel, she doesn't have 1 million subscribers. But people, I mean, I'm not saying the others have 1 million subscribers, but yeah, people do love to hate watch. And I don't know how anybody can do that. And I don't think I'd like to be a channel that is, yeah, Horselove, I agree. It's Chelcie Lynn, the channel. CHELCIE -Lynn, LYNN. And like I said, her character, when she plays Trailer Trash Tammy, all the moves, the facial expressions, the body language, the way she dresses, the way she does her hair, it is hilarious. It is totally hilarious. And the backstories for each of the characters, like her husband Daryl being in and out of prison or in and out of jail. It's freaking hilarious. I don't know why she doesn't have her own television show. Peter Mon was saying that the other day too. But she is freaking hilarious. I mean, here's another, like, I think it's great, and I think we should see more of stuff like that. CHEM. I'll write it down, okay, in the chat. Here we go. That's how you spell her name. No, I watch drama channels too, Supernova. Drama channels are also my guilty pleasure. I watch a few of them too. I even have a few favorites. that I watch. So, no, I'm not going to lie about that. Yeah, no problem. No, I'm not going to lie about that, I love, and I will watch. You should. Yeah, you won't regret it. You should see her with Officer Daniels. That's another character. Officer Daniels, he is like the ideal straight man to her. He is the quintessential straight man. But he's, no, absolutely. So it's a lot of things, all this to say, how do we explain YouTube? Obviously, someone like Amberlynn Reid has figured it out, although in a very negative way. That, in all honesty, if I couldn't do that. Build a channel on being hated. I mean, it's one thing. I can take my lumps. I do a video. Let's say I do a video, and I take a very unpopular stance, okay? Let's say my subscribers, my regular viewers, my regular subscribers, I may take a standpoint on an argument or on a topic that is not very popular with them, but I feel that it is right to talk about it for X, Y, and Z. I am prepared to get some critique on it. I am prepared maybe to be corrected even if there is proof to the contrary of what I'm saying. I have had videos where I've had more dislikes than likes, especially in my early YouTubing days. I have had Karina. Who's Karina? Karina Kaboom. Who's Karina Kaboom? I've heard the name before. Karina Kaboom. Is she a drama channel? Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I have videos that are unpopular that would get more dislikes than likes, and I likely will publish other videos with the same thing. But to be consistently hate watched, to have a shitload of dislikes and only a handful of likes, I don't think I can handle it. You know, and all the hate comments and everything, I really don't think I can handle it. I'm not that thick-skinned, and I used to be a political blogger. You know, I used to be a political blogger for God's sake. So yeah, I had that gave me boot camp training on how to deal with trolls. But even some of that training from political blogging didn't prepare me for YouTube. You know, it didn't really prepare me for YouTube. If anybody remembers, I had that kerfuffle with Jan of Jan's reviews. Yeah. Yeah, I hate comments, exactly. You know, I mean, on a few videos, I can live with a few hate comments. I can live with a few of them. It's just getting the same hate comments all the time on every video I do. No, I don't think. I think that would come a time where I would have to stop making videos. You know, I would have to close down my YouTube channel. If it ever got to that point, like let's say Lynn Reed, I would have her stop because I couldn't handle it. Like I said, some videos I'm prepared for that. I did a video about Jordan Peterson. He's a very polarizing figure here in Canada. I don't like the man. I find him to be misogynistic. And I think he's dangerous to mental health because I heard him in an interview he did with some other professor, was it a year ago or something? Basically suggesting that he doesn't respect men who don't smack each other, pretty much. And as we all know, I'm pretty much against violence of any kind. And I did a video describing X, Y, and Z, why I do not like him. And why I think he's a danger to mental illness. He's a danger to mental health. And I got a lot of hate comments for it. Oh man, did I get a lot of hate comments. Another time I reacted, what was it? Oh God, about 6 months ago. I reacted to a video. Has anybody ever heard of Alan Roberts, Every Damn Day Fitness? The channel Every Damn Day Fitness. It's supposed to be a fitness channel. But he likes to do a lot of fat shaming videos. He claims he's not fat shaming, but he really is. But anyways, I did a reaction to one of his videos because I found he had a lot of misinformation. I found he had a lot of incorrect information. So I did a video reacting to him, correcting his information, and I provided a bunch of links to all my sources backing up my arguments, because that was my training as a political blogger to do it. If you're going to stick to an argument and hold to an argument, okay, and you want to win the game and you want to win the argument, you better be able to back your arguments up. You got to back it up with facts. So this was no different. I had a whole slew of links of my sources backing up my arguments, and I ended up with 12 dislikes and only 2 likes. Yeah, I agree. You need the receipts. Well, I didn't have receipts, but I had links per se. I had links to all my sources. You know, research papers, articles, all that stuff. I had links. And I said in the video, like, click in the link below. In the description box, there's a link to this article. There's a link to that article. Click on it so you can peruse it for yourself. And I still got, like, I ended up with 12 dislikes to only 2 likes on that video. Go figure. Receipts. Yeah, receipts. Yeah, I know. Who came up with that? You know, I know that's code in the YouTube community. You know, with the drama channels, they say, I've got receipts. Like, what does that even mean? If anybody wants to share what it means, maybe I'm too old and uncool to know that. Yeah. Yeah, everyone has receipts, you know? Everyone has receipts. As a matter of fact, I have a purse full of receipts. You know, I have a purse full of receipts. Dead receipts. Receipts are like proof to show you're not lying. It's just the proof from Twitter posts, DMs, etc. Yeah, but showing up DMs, I'm not a fan of because it may not be doxing, but in what it means, but it's kind of borderline doxing. To back up the gossip. Yeah. Yeah, I find that too. Showing DMs is weird. It got to a point where I was DMing somebody. I was giving them some information, but I had to make it clear at the top of my DM, this is not to be used as a receipt. This is not to be published in your video. This is not to be published in your video. And if I see that it is or it got out, I will know where it came from. And I am not going to be a happy camper. Yeah, exactly, Hearts. I would, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a DM for a reason because, I don't know, you know, when you DM somebody, you expect the conversation to be private, right? I mean, okay, nothing's really private on the internet. Okay, got it. But you kind of expect some level of privacy when you're DMing, right? You kind of expect some level of privacy. And then when somebody goes and publishes it, especially without the authorization of the other party, that sucks. You know, sorry, that's a slimy thing to do. Yeah, exactly. And then playing it in your video without permission. I mean, it's slimy. It's a very slimy thing to do. You know? It's a very slimy thing to do. So it's kind of, to me, it's kind of like doxing. I know doxing is more insidious than that, like actually providing phone numbers publicly and addresses and such, or somebody's medical report or something more intimate than that. And I think something more intimate than that, you know, it's you know, but still, to me, it is, you know, releasing or timestamp or screenshotting a DM for one's video or for one's social media post, whatever that may be, on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. No, to me, that is a form of doxing. To me, that is a form of doxing, and we need to learn to be more civil to each other. But yeah, it goes all down to, I don't need to show my DM to prove my word. If my word needs proof, it's like I'm done. Yeah, I would agree with you too, Supernova. I would agree with you too. I would never use somebody's DM unless somebody explicitly asked me to, or I had permission to do so. But otherwise, no, I would never do that, because I know I would hate it if I ever found a DM on somebody else's video. Like I said, I'd be getting all pretty shit-faced. I would not be a happy camper. And no, I would not. And it wouldn't be, you know, like, it's not fair. It's not okay. It's not right. You know? It's not right. It's not okay. So why do we do that? It's like we feel the need to cut each other. And it goes back to what I've been saying. Like, let's say there's something pretty damning in a DM, or maybe not damning necessarily, but Once again, somebody talks about, I don't know, somebody talks about in their DM that in private that they, I don't know, they have a mental illness, they're going through a crisis period. They're going through a crisis period, and then that gets slapped up on social media and like, oh no, we're going to stay away from that person, or that person's evil, or that person's bad, you know, because that person is weird and they're not happy and they're not positive. So they've got to be a bad person. They've got to be a weird person, or they're just plain ungrateful, you know, and it just goes to show how destructive that kind of thing can be. But yeah, it's gotten to a point sometimes when I communicate with a YouTuber I don't know too well, and I take a risk by communicating with them through a direct message or a private message. I have to explicitly say at the top, this is not to be used as a receipt. You cannot use this in your video. Got it? Yeah, no, exactly. It's not someone else's info to release. Exactly. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. The things we get ourselves into. But yeah, but back to what I was saying is, you know, instead of cutting each other up, you know, either, you know, what is it? Somebody has, it didn't used to be this bad, or was I just naive as a kid? What time era? I was a victim of bullying myself, and I was a kid in the 70s and in the 80s. I went to a lot of different schools, and I was bullied and tormented in each and every one of them. Once again, because of the labels, because I was the girl with the bad haircuts, or I was the girl who was uncoordinated at sports, or uncoordinated in gym class, or I was the girl that needed extra help with certain subjects. Or I was the girl who stayed after school with the teacher or with a tutor for extra help, you know, instead of really getting to know me. Yes, everyone is cutthroat. Exactly. And I think it's worse as time goes on. I find that it gets worse and it's more competitive, you know. What was it? Because I've been going through a hard time in the past month. I haven't been well. That's why I didn't live stream at all last week, because I've been extremely tired and having difficulty focusing on anything. I hadn't even uploaded a video because I've been tired and focusing, you know, unfocused. And then I saw, an old cover picture, a Facebook cover picture. It was a quote from the author Edgar Allan Poe. Now, if anybody's familiar with Edgar Allan Poe's styling, it's a bit haunting. It's definitely off the beaten path. It's not necessarily happy. It's more haunting than anything else. For some, it might be, I don't know, a bit scary. It is definitely weird to many, I suppose. But there was a quote that kind of had a hint of that had a twinge of sadness to it. But I liked the quote a lot. And then one of my relatives on my on the Facebook comments made a very snarky backhanded comment to me. A very snarky backhanded comment, you know. And this was a woman who has a degree in English literature. And having a degree in English literature, you would think she would know who Edgar Allan Poe was. Okay, maybe don't have to remember each and all of his quotes. You know, you're not expected, because you read all kinds of shit, you know, being an English lit major. You read all kinds of shit. You saw all kinds of quotes. You're not expected to remember. You're likely only going to remember what sticks out to you personally, what resonates with you, right? What resonates with you. So, yeah, you're only going to stick with what resonates with you. But I would have thought she would have at least knew Edgar Allan Poe, and she had to make a snarky backhanded comment. I ended up having to block her. From seeing all my posts, because I can't deal with it. Yeah, she graduated to be an internet troll. Yeah. Yeah. Who was also famous at who was also famous at labeling, you know? Even my own parents did so. Yeah, I understand why you hate social media, Hearts. I understand why you hate it. In a lot of respects, it is evil. But for some of us who are isolated and alone, like you live in a, like me, you know, I live in a city where nobody is friendly, you know? Yeah, exactly. Innocent and trust. And that is precious for a child and instrumental for a healthy childhood. Unfortunately, a lot of us, including yours truly, that was denied us. You know, we had to grow up very quickly. A lot of us, we had to grow up very quickly. We put up with a lot, some of us put up with a lot of trauma, like being abused at home, being bullied at school, whatever, you know? And every child needs a safe place to go. And in my case, it was my maternal grandmother. You know, it was my maternal grandmother. And when she passed away, I no longer had a safe place. You know, and she passed away when I was 13. And I no longer had a safe place to go. So that, you know, and I think, you know, anybody who had a rough childhood, it doesn't have to shape who you are as an adult. And that is true only to some degree. You can try to do something positive. You can try to turn it around. The problem is when it fails, then once again you get ostracized or the bullying continues even in adulthood. In a lot of respects, I find, you know, as old as we might get, it's like a lot of us never left freaking high school. Your books, huh? Yeah, your books. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear, Hearts. You know, yeah. I also worked for a social service agency, and we worked with children at risk. So a lot of I can't legally talk about what I worked with because even though I'm not there anymore, I'm still legally bound by confidentiality. But so I can't really discuss what I saw. But I will say this as make a global statement. I had seen a lot of children who grew up already by before the age of 10 were like pretty much they were like 8 going on 40. That's a pretty scary thing, you know, the wisdom they develop quickly. I'm not saying wisdom is a bad thing. In fact, wisdom is a good thing. But sometimes, yeah, you know, how we were shaped in our youth and how we were molded in our youth does affect who we become as adults. It does affect our experience as adults. If you have PTSD, because, like, for instance, you have PTSD, and it's as a result of childhood abuse or even bullying, you know, that's one example. That is one example of how sometimes, you know, past abuses or past difficulties or traumas can affect the adult you become, you know? And I think people need to be more sensitive to that, you know? We live in a world of memes. We create our memes, we pass memes, we share memes. Everything that looks all nice and pretty on a bumper sticker, right? Bumper sticker slogans. And it's how a lot of political parties run their election campaigns, for God's sake. You know, once again, back to labels and labeling. Labeling and back without actually getting to know what's underneath. You know, without getting to know what's underneath. I'll give you an example. The Premier of Ontario, oh God, he's a nightmare. I'm glad I don't live in his province. And that I'm glad I don't live in the province of Ontario. He's a nightmare. And he campaigned on one particular slogan, was going to be a buck of beer. That was his main slogan, buck of beer. So, what do you think? A lot of people, oh, yay, buck of beer. They don't think about how could this be conceived? Is this even doable? Is this even doable? Which, of course, it's not. It's not based in any kind of reality. Yeah, I know he really did campaign on buck of beer and won on that, basically. Yeah, no, not even college kids. He goes after more the uneducated blue collar type, lower income blue collar types. Although it's typical, he would go target them to get their votes, and then he gets into office, and typically he ends up only supporting his rich, well-heeled buddies, corporate buddies. That is what he does. Sadly typical. Sadly typical. And that is, and that's just all to say, this is how we live our lives, by memes, by slogans. But do we take the time to find the meaning behind it? And slogans and memes are labels. They are labels in and of themselves. But do we take the time to figure out what that really means? Thank you. Yes, thank you, hearts. Do we take the time to figure out what that really means? Any meme. Like here in Canada, the last Thursday in January in social media land, the big corporation Bell, telecommunications, radio stations, TV stations, stuff like that, stations, stuff like that, yeah. What do they do? What do they do? Oh God, I lost my train of thought. I'm having a brain fart right now. Brain freeze. Brain freeze. Yeah, oh yeah. So anyways, Bell, to have their feel-good moment in the sun, the last Thursday of January, they raise 5 cents for every hashtag, every time you use the hashtag Bell Let's Talk on your social media platform, or if you put their avatar on your profile pic. And a lot of people buy into this, and they do it, and they'll hashtag Bell Let's Talk, and they'll put the damn avatar, they'll slap the damn avatar on their profile pic. But do any of them actually practice what they are helping Bell promote, so to speak? Are they practicing? It's not for nothing at the end of all my videos, like at the closing of all my videos, please take care of yourselves and each other, and remember to check in on that vulnerable person or at-risk person in your midst. It's not just a meme. I mean it. I really want you all to do that. I really all want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I really want you all to try to find the time to look in on that vulnerable neighbor or that vulnerable relative or friend, who might be alone and isolated and might be going through a rough time. As I always said, sometimes something simple as having a coffee or sharing a meal or lending them a sympathetic ear, just to listen, sometimes is what makes all the difference in the world, right? And that's why I close all my videos. I mean that. But those who put the avatar, once again, it's just a freaking another label of another sort. A meme, an avatar, hashtag. But do they practice what they preach? Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they might use it as a mask. They might. I'm open to that, definitely. Or maybe because it's the whole keeping up with the Joneses thing. Like, oh, Look at this popular person on Facebook who has 5,000 friends or whatever. Look, this is the avatar. Look at the avatar they have. Bell, let's talk. Look at the avatar. Let's do that. It's a trend. We're going to set a trend. Let's go on Twitter. Hashtag Bell, let's talk. Because it's a trend. It's keeping up with the Joneses. It's nothing more than that. It is meaningless unless one actually practices it, puts it into practice. You know, unless one actually puts it into practice, it's meaningless. It's nothing more than a bumper sticker, which is a label of another sort. Yeah, everyone does want to fit in. Lord knows I've tried my entire life trying to fit in. It never works. I never did fit in. I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt. But the point is, there are people like myself who just don't fit with any mold. And as such, we're not accepted because of that. And I think that's wrong-handed too. Goes back to, once again, keeping up with the Joneses. And I'm going to say it again. The Joneses are fucked up. Got it? The Joneses are fucked up. Thank you, Supernova. Yeah. Exactly. I eventually stopped trying. I just want a couple of good friends, and I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, too. That's cool, too. Yeah. I don't have too many friends, I don't have too many friends. And it's the same thing. Like, I would like to be in a relationship. I don't want to be single anymore. But when you get a relationship coach slapping on to someone like yours truly, the brand, like the scarlet letter that we're a low quality, that I am a low quality woman, kind of burns you. It kind of burns you, I do not want to fit in. I want to be myself and like for myself, not a mirage. Yeah, I would agree with you too, Supernova. I would like it if people got beyond my appearance or my age or my weight or the fact that I don't have upper teeth and I sport a denture. I walk through life with a denture. I would like it. I would like it if people got beyond that. Talk to me for 2 minutes and you figure out I'm very knowledgeable on a lot of subjects. I'm very knowledgeable on a lot of subjects because I do a lot of reading, especially after my retirement, I mean, no, I have some university. I did a few years of university. It didn't work out for me. I ended up flunking out and I never went back and I don't want to go back. I can't compete for the grades. I don't handle, as the older I get, I find the less I can handle being in large groups of people. But I do read, I keep up, I read. It's the free education, the University of Hard Knocks, School of Hard Knocks. Best damn education you can get, Yeah, exactly. They see the superficial. And I think it's very wrong-handed, nowadays, if anybody's noticed, singles, you're on the dating sites, you're on Tinder or Plenty of Fuckers or Mulch.com, or those Facebook dating groups. It's all about who looks good on Instagram. It's who looks good in pictures or who looks good on paper. Okay, who looks good on paper? It's almost like hand off a CV. Okay, hand off your resume, like you're applying for a job. And the date is actually just like a very bad job interview. It's an awkward job interview done by a very bad interviewer from HR. That's what it is. Yeah, I agree about the filters. What is it? Facetune, I think it's called nowadays. It's the popular one they like to use. Facetune, I think it's called. Not sure. Anyways, yeah, it's Facetune, I think. Yeah, fuck Photoshop. Photoshop is for old farts like me. We use Facetune. Yay! I'm not cool. I still use Photoshop. I am too damn old. You know what? I remember someone told me, you're too old to be doing YouTube. Somebody told me that. You're too old to do YouTube. But you know something? If any of you have ever checked out Nick Nimmin or Brian G. Johnson, okay, those are the YouTube guys, or those guys from the vidIQ channel, the channel and the app vidIQ. Those guys are all over 40, okay? Those dudes are all over the age of 40. Brian G. Johnson, Nick Nimmin, and I think at least half the dudes from vidIQ. No, wrinkles at all. Photoshop is better. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have channels. Brian G. Johnson and Nick Nimmin. Nick Nimmin. Here, I'll write them down. And vidIQ. Like half the guys from vidIQ are over 40. Okay. And Nick Nimmin and Brian G. Johnson are definitely over 40. Roberto Blake is another one, but I don't know how old he is. I honestly don't know how old Roberto Blake is. He's definitely over the age of, I would estimate he's around 35. Yeah. So, yeah, check those guys out. They give useful information, I find. Those guys out that I just gave you. They give out useful information. And they do, once in a while, they do some live streams to give tips. Like Tuesday afternoons, vidIQ does a live stream on Tuesday afternoons. And they do channel reviews. Like they leave a form like no more than an hour before they air. You go to the link in their description box. It's a Google Docs. And you fill out the form and you ask for a channel review. Unfortunately, they can't pick everybody because the demand is higher than they have time for. And they pick them out like a lottery. But sometimes you can learn a lot when they're reviewing other people's channels. You might see where they spot a mistake on that person's channel. You can learn for your own channel. You might be doing the same mistakes, in other words, you know? I screenshot it, but there are a few older women. Not many who don't do really. No, there's one I think you'll like. Although, unfortunately, I'm not sure how much longer she'll have her channel. Simply because she has cancer. She's very sick with cancer. And I'm not sure if she's going to survive. But here she is. Phyllis Stokes. She's a woman in her 80s, in her late 70s and in her 80s. She's had a YouTube channel for many years. It was mainly about cooking. And she cooked retro dishes, those revolting 50s retro dishes. But a lot of people like it, you know. A lot of people like them. And sometimes she would do some story time, talk about her and her husband, Mr. Bucky, who was referred to as Mr. Bucky. But sadly, Mr. Bucky passed away. Mr. Bucky passed away a few weeks ago, unfortunately. And she is down with liver cancer. But yeah, she has this friendly Southern accent. Like she comes off as a very nice lady. She has a couple of poodles, and sometimes she'll put the camera on her poodles and talk like from the point of view potentially of her poodles. Like, and she has like 150,000 subscribers. Yeah, she has over 150,000 subscribers. Like I said, her type of cooking is not my thing. I'm not into those 50s dishes. And secondly, because I'm vegan and she cooks with a lot of meat and a lot of dairy and a lot of eggs. But once in a while, I would watch her cooking, you know, because I love listening to her talk. I love the sound of her voice. She's kind of like everybody's grandma type of thing. Like she's got really long silver hair. She's got really long silver hair and all that. Like it's, I mean, it's really sad what's going on with her now, unfortunately. But I always thought it was a good channel. Like I said, a lot of people might go for those retro dishes that brings them back to yesteryear, things like green Jello molds or eating a salad with Miracle Whip. But Yeah, isn't she? Isn't she? Yeah. Yeah, sub her, sub her. I don't know how much longer she'll be on YouTube or how frequent, like I said, because she is undergoing a lot of treatment for liver cancer. So, yeah, but you listen to her talk. You can listen all day to her talk. Just the sound of her voice and her southern drawl. I mean, I get it. She comes off as just a very nice, down to earth lady. And she is beautiful. Yes, hearts. Phyllis Stokes is beautiful. Absolutely. Oh, good. Good. You don't have to sub to Amberlyn Reed, though. I don't. I don't. But, yeah, no, but back to Phyllis Stokes, she's, I mean, and for the most part, her channel was positive. I mean, even nowadays, just losing her husband and being very sick herself, she tries to put on a brave face, and you see, that she's sad, she's scared, but she puts on a brave face, and you see her, keeping company with her poodles, and she tries, and that is a woman you have to admire. You have to admire. Like I said, she never talks about politics. She doesn't discuss social issues. It was basically DIY her about food, sometimes grocery hauls, or story time about her and her life with Mr. Bucky, or what their plans for the future were at one point, stuff like that. Yeah, it's almost like, being invited home, It's almost like being invited home. But yeah, that's a channel that deserves a lot of subscribers. I don't know if she's up to 200,000 subscribers, but I'm just giving you one example of, when people come up and say, "What are you doing on YouTube? You're too freaking old." It's like there are older people on YouTube. I just gave you the guys who are over the age of 40 who advise on YouTube. No, YouTube is not just for the young. It's not just for millennials. Yes, a lot of millennials use it. A lot of millennials have channels, but it's not just for the young. Yeah, I think you'd like Phyllis Stokes. I really think you'd like her. But she's got videos that date back. I think she's been on the platform for about 10 years. She's one of the grandmammies of YouTube. Although not typically, not typically, because she doesn't play games. She doesn't play video games on camera. She doesn't do mukbangs. She doesn't do mukbangs or any of the other stuff, or the ASMR. She just talks about her life. She just simply talks about her life, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not just for the old. It's just their go-to insult. I love YT because I like to connect with others, and I don't do social media. Commenting and watching is nice. I would agree with you, Hearts. Well, I mean, I have social media accounts all over the place, but I practically live on social media. Probably too much for my own good. Way too much for my own good. But anyways, yeah, I would agree with you. I do. Sometimes I find, myself connecting with some particular YouTube. I can relate to them, or something they talk about resonates with me, or it hits close to home, I would agree, because you're seeing them, you're hearing them. You hear the sound of the voice, you hear the tone, you see the facial expressions. You get to know somebody that way. And if they're doing a live stream like what we're doing now, you interact on the live chat, You interact on the live chat. Yeah, and sometimes you can see their vulnerability. I mean, there are some who take the dramatics to overkill, like Nikocado Avocado. I don't hate his channel. I don't hate him. But I find a lot of his stuff is just a tad over the top. It's just a tad over the top. But yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, that's true too. It's a persona. Sometimes we adapt a persona online in social media land, right? We just simply adapt to that. Yeah, exactly. We just simply adapt to the label. Yeah. We just simply adapt to the label. You know, we adapt to what we see, the slogan, the label, the meme. Yeah, agreed. I mean, I would think, and there are a few good examples of that. I think Trisha Paytas is one of them. And the other one, truthfully, Trisha, ugh, for another. Truthfully, Trisha for another, and Trisha Paytas. Two different people, not the same person at all. But yeah, some exactly do get lost in that persona. What was it? How many people were vested in that fake marriage between, what was it, Tana Mojo and Jake Paul? They had a fake wedding. They got a fake married on live stream, which costed $150 to get access to said live stream. And it turned out the live stream didn't work for shit. You know, it was all about the clicks. All about the clicks. And these two are millionaires in their own. Likely they are millionaires. If not, they're certainly in the six figures. They're likely in the six-figure category if they're not millionaires. So it's like, you know, to go and charge $50 to take a live stream glimpse and a very badly, technically badly done live stream at that. Yeah, it is the new TV. It's almost like everybody can have their own Truman Show. Everybody can have their own Truman Show. Hell, I'm having my own Truman Show. Every time especially when I do a live stream, because I wing it, my live streams are never scripted. My uploads, they're scripted, but these live streams are never scripted. I come on and I talk. It's gotten to the point where I would love to do conduct a few social experiments using my live streaming. Yeah, hear me out. I want to take the cue of another one. There's a channel called Chosen One, WON, and he leaves his camera unattended. Like the camera might face outside his window or whatever. Might face out the window, and he'll leave the camera on all night and the live chat on to see what happened. And I was thinking about doing the same thing one day. Just leave the camera open, right? Leave the webcam open, have it focus somewhere in the apartment. Let it go for like however long. I might pop in and chat. I might pop in front of the camera and chat every so often just to see how many, you know, would come by or the comments or whatever. It would be an interesting social experiment. They are millionaires by now, but sure. Yeah, exactly. Except ads are starting to become more prominent. And now some channels are being promoted. Yeah, I agree, Hearts. A lot of celebrities. Some are doing stream houses. Yeah, I've heard of that. I think they're doing that more on Twitch, though, than on YouTube. If I'm not mistaken, they're doing that more on Twitch. LOL, they do that on a few channels. I've seen people on Twitch film themselves sleeping, but I would watch. I think Avocado did a live stream once where he was sleeping. Wasn't on Twitch, though. When he goes live, he usually goes on You Now. He usually does his lives on You Now. But I think somebody caught him sleeping. He had the camera on himself and he was sleeping. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't put the camera on myself sleeping in my bedroom. No, I would not go that far. My sleeping room is my sleeping room, and that is private. But I thought, leave it open in the living room, and see what happens. And I would stop by every so often and chat in front of the camera, say, hi, how are you? Thank you all. I have mods, as you know. I have mods now that are experienced, like Hearts, like Supernova, like Jason earlier. I have and Wraith was in there earlier, experienced mods who I trust implicitly to boot the more problematic trolls if they had to. Yeah, YouNow is still in existence, and there are people that use it. Nikocado Avocado still uses it. Amberlynn Reed, I think, still uses it. Peter Mon uses it. Well, you're very welcome, Supernova. You remember the first time when I made you a mod? I had that weird troll that was more like a bot typing all that gibberish, and we had a hard time getting rid of it. we had, we had a hard time getting rid of it. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that was fucked up. But yeah, I was thinking about doing something like that. I don't have a Twitch account. Should I open one? Probably not. I have too many social media accounts as it is, honestly. But I'm thinking about doing that. Just turn the camera on and see what happens. And leave it on, leave it rolling and see what happens. But no, I do draw the line of having the camera on me when I'm sleeping or napping. No, that's where I draw the line. My sleeping room is my sleeping room. Yeah. So maybe I'll do it soon. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it on Sunday. Maybe I'll do that this Sunday. Yeah. You know what else is becoming fun, meme for a live stream? Negative Reactions did it. The channel, the guy Negs, Ron, is his name, Ron. And I think Original Owl did it once, but she was parodying, she was doing a parody of Truthfully Trisha. They were painting with their body parts. They were painting with their body parts. Maybe I'll try that too. See what the thrill is. See what the thrill is. I'll go on camera, I'll paint with my body parts. I'll see what the thrill is. Someone doing a cemetery live stream with a Ouija board. Good night, hearts. Thank you for stopping by. It was greatly appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. Good night. Yeah. Someone's doing a cemetery live stream with a Ouija board. I wouldn't be surprised if that's been done, in all honesty. They're in the cemetery at night and they're playing with a Ouija board. I wouldn't be surprised. And they have the camera on themselves and they're doing it live. That would not surprise me to hear that. What, the Ouija? I'm not doing Ouija board in the graveyard. I don't play with Ouija boards. No. I don't play. I don't mess around with that. Good night, hearts. It was great. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sharing my PayPal link for those who may want to support the channel, whoever's watching. And the link is also in the description box in the video. You went to graveyards, but no Ouija board. Did you live stream it? Did you turn the camera on yourself and live stream it? I didn't do that, though. Do I go to a cemetery and then vlog? Call it this graveyard vlog. The graveyard vlog. Do I do that? Do I do that? Should I do that? No, only took pictures. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not going to vlog. I will never vlog or live stream from a graveyard, from a cemetery. No. Not going to do that either. But I might do, but I think this Sunday, this Sunday, I'll leave the camera on all night. And I'll leave it open in the living room, for the webcam facing the living room, this room here, and see what happens. I go about my business and see what happens. I get to see what happens. Huh. Ay. Yeah, why not? For shits and giggles. For shits and giggles, right? Like I said, everybody's trying to have their own Truman Show here on YouTube. Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I? Yeah, we all do. And that's the thing, we don't even watch it on cable TV anymore, huh? I don't know. Who still has cable these days? Well, obviously, a lot of people still do, but obviously, a lot of people still do. A lot of people still do. But I don't know. I haven't had a TV and I haven't had cable in many years. When my ex left, he took the TV with him because it was his. He bought that with his own cash. So it's only fair he took his TV with him. It's only fair he took his TV with him. No, but I never was in a hurry to get another TV. I've never been in a hurry to get another TV. And yeah, cable is expensive. Internet is expensive enough. But cable I can live without. I can live without a TV. But I think these days you have to have the internet, even if you don't do social media, even if you even if you have no social media footprint or very few social media footprints, you still have to have the internet these days. I think the internet, it's essential. You still need to have it these days. It's become an essential utility, I think. Yeah, it's become an essential utility. Yep. So anyways, I'm going to cut this short. Thank you all for stopping by. Thanks to Heart, Supernova, Jason from these four corners, and whoever else, and Wraith, and whoever else stopped by. I'm going to wish you all a very good night. I will be back on Sunday, and I think that's when I will do the experiment, the Truman Show. Straight Talking Fedora Chick's very own Truman Show, where I leave the camera running all night. So you can stop by, chat, make friends, and I'll stop in and take a look at what's happening in the live chat and chat with you all every so often. Call it a social experiment, if you will, an online social experiment that I will be conducting. So I'm aiming to start that live stream at about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday evening. Yeah, I'm aiming to turn the camera on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to let the camera run all night. I'm going to let the camera run all night and see what happens. Okay? Thank you so much all for stopping by. And thank you to my mods. You are all awesome. And take care of yourselves and each other. And if there is somebody in your midst who is at risk, and this is not just a slogan, this is not just a meme, I actually mean this, do take the time to check on that person. Take the time to have a coffee, share a meal, or just sit and lend them a sympathetic ear. Sometimes it makes all the difference in the world. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be uploading anything between now and Sunday. I'm still having issues with fatigue and having difficulty focusing these days. I'll try to upload something between now and Sunday evening. I'll try and upload something. I don't know what that will be yet, but no promises. But I will definitely be back Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to leave the camera open and loose in my living room all night long, and we're going to see what happens. So I wish you all a good night and sleep tight. I'm over and out. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.